Hi, my name is Amanda Morgan. I am a third grade ELA and social studies teacher at Ethel Scheffner Elementary School in St. Charles Parish. I am most passionate about inspiring my students to have a love for learning, building those trusting relationships with my students, to encourage them to try new things, to read new books, and to really have that passion to learn something new each and every day. Today's lesson that you're going to see is a third grade ELA lesson. We use guidebooks. We're currently in the unit Because of Winn-Dixie, and our students are learning all about the importance of unlikely friendships. Our essential question that we're going back to is, why is it important to have friends or with people who are different from us? And this class that you need to know about is there a mixture of friends who are all different from each other. We have some struggling readers in the classroom. I have students with special needs, students with learning disabilities, and even gifted students in the classroom. In this group of students, I have 5 students who have IEPs and 3 students who have a 504 plan. So you will see a special ed teacher also come into the classroom during instruction to assist with some of those students. Our lesson today is on the book called Just Ask, Be Brave, Be Different, Be You. And we're learning today why it's important to just ask questions if you're curious about someone. Our students are going to look at the illustrations and analyze the text in order to determine why it's okay to ask those questions and learn to have collaborative discussions with each other and learning from each other's experiences. So today we are going to be learning about a new book called Just Ask. Who has ever met a new friend before? Okay, who has ever gone somewhere where a new place that you've never been before and maybe you didn't know anybody? So today we're going to talk about why it's okay that if you are different from others and why you can just ask about their differences if you're curious about something. So today in our lesson we have our essential question. Who can read this for me? Milan?
Why is it important to have friends who are different?
So that's the question that we've been working on this entire unit. Why is it important to have friends who are different from us? So when we talked about Charlotte's Web, Charlotte, Wilbur, a pig and a spider, very different. We talked about Owen and Mazee, a hippo, a tortoise, very different. We talked about all these different friendships that Edward Tulane had along the way. So it is okay to have friends who are different from us. Our goals today as we go through this lesson, our focus is what lesson can this book teach us? Can Just Ask teach us along the way? Our standards for today are ask and answer questions, explain how the pictures in the text help to tell a story, and then have group discussions. Who are these standards for? For me, they're my goals, right? So then I'm going to take those goals and turn them into goals for you. So I've got 2 main goals and a little goal for us. Who can read that first goal? Kennedy.
I can explain why it is important to just ask when I feel different or curious.
So if we want to know something, what can we do? Ask, right? Just ask a question. But before you can tell me why it's important to just ask these questions, we've got to kind of do something first. Read this sub-goal for us, Reagan.
First, I need to analyze the text and visuals to support my understanding of the lesson the author wants me to learn.
So as we go through this book today, not only are we going to look at the words that the author is telling us, but we're going to look at these beautiful illustrations that help to tell the story of why it's okay and why it's important to just ask when you're feeling curious. And read that next goal for us, please, Dylan.
I can engage actively in discussion by asking and answering questions as a whole class.
So we're going to have a chance today to turn and talk with our partners. We're going to have a chance to mix, match, freeze around the class to have those good discussions, to hear everybody else's opinions and their thoughts. So I want you right now to think about this question. Why might it be a good idea to make friends with people who are just like you? Why might it be a good idea to be friends with people who are just like you? When I look around this classroom, are there any people who look exactly the same?
No.
No. Are there people who look similar?
Yeah.
Right? So we have girls, we have boys, we have people who are wearing blue shirts, we have people who are wearing brown pants. So we have people who are similar. They're not exactly the same, but they're similar. Why might it be a good idea to be friends with people who are just like you? I want you to turn and talk to your partner. My front row, you're going to answer this question, and my third row, you're going to answer this question. 30 seconds. Why might it be a good idea to make friends with people who are just like you? Go.
It's a good idea to make friends with friends like you because they might like the same things as like you could get along with them.
I'll answer.
Tell me what your partner said. Why might it be a good idea to make friends with people who are just like you? So I'm looking for hands from row 2 and row 4. You're telling me what your partner said. Reese.
Andrew said because they might like the same thing.
They might like the same things as you, right? So you might have some things in common. So why is it okay and why is it a good idea to be friends with people who are not just like you? This time, I would like row 2 to talk and row 4 to talk. Go.
I guess it's a good idea for like friends to not be just like you. Because if you start to get bored because you would never.
As we go through the text, I want you to think, what lesson can I learn from this book? What lesson can I, as a third grader, learn and use in my own life each and every day? Hi, I'm Sonia. My friends and I are planting a garden. Gardens are magical places. Thousands of plants bloom together, but every flower, every berry, and every leaf is different. Each has a different smell, a different color, different shape, and different purpose. It's me, Sonia again. I ask questions too. When something seems different or new, I just ask my parents or my teachers, and they help me to understand, especially if my friends don't feel ready to explain. This is what I've learned. Imagine if all the plants in this garden were exactly the same. Like, what if we could only grow peas? That would mean no strawberries or cucumbers or carrots. It also would mean no trees or roses or sunflowers. Just like in our garden, all the ways we are different makes our neighborhood, our whole world really, more interesting and fun. And just like all these plants, each of us has unique powers to share with the world and make it more interesting and richer. What will you do with your powers? Why does the book begin describing different flowers? And why did the author choose a garden as the setting? So why does the book describe different flowers? And why is the setting in a garden? 30 seconds, go.
Us people being different from one another.
Yes, so did the author compare the flowers, how they're different, to like people being different? I like that. Why does the author say differences make us stronger, but in a good way? Tell me what your partner said. Why is it good that we're different? Scarlett?
It's good that we're different because it makes the world unique.
It makes us unique, right? Can we all learn something from each other?
Yes.
I love it. Okay, we're gonna try again. Go ahead and mix, match, and freeze. Okay, find someone. Look, Caden, there's Reese. He needs a partner. Find a friend. Give your friend a high five. Awesome. All right, Eli, look, you can come join these friends right over here because we do have one group of 3. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
1, 2, eyes on you.
Here's my question for my blue friends. What is the lesson you learned by reading the book Just Ask, Be Different, Be Brave, Be You? What is the lesson that you learned in the book today? Tell your friends. Go.
So the lesson is that it's okay to be unique because other people, because like if everyone was the same, it would be boring.
It'd be boring, right? Everybody brings something different to the table, right? Can we learn from each other?
Yes.
Yes, I love this. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
1, 2, eyes on you.
Tell me what your partner said. What lesson did you learn from your friend? Tell me what lesson you learned, Kaden.
We said that he learned that people can be different, and if they were to be the same, it would kind of be boring.
Yeah, it would be boring, right? So it's good to be different. We can learn from each other. How does the author teach us this lesson in the book? Think back to our goal of looking at the words and the illustration. What does the author use in the story to help explain that it's okay to be different? It's good to be different. It makes the whole world a better place to be different. Tell your partner how the author teaches us this lesson. 30 seconds, go.
The author teaches this lesson to be different because some people can have different disabilities than you, or because they could be blind, they could be deaf, and if they're blind, you can kind of help them to where they can go, and if they're deaf, and if you know sign language, and then if the teacher doesn't know what they're saying, you can translate it.
So the author uses kids, right, and shows us what else does the author compare the kids to?
The authors compare the kids to
What is the setting? In a garden?
yeah.
And what is he saying? There's all these beautiful what?
Everyone's different, and
What's
flowers.
flowers?
Yes.
Yeah.
And some are easy to break, and some are hard to break.
Absolutely. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
1, 2, eyes on you.
Go ahead and come have a seat back at your spot. Oh, I'm sorry. You can put your piece of paper in the blue bin and have a seat at your spot. I'll take it, Andrew, since you're already seated. Nope. Tell me, how is this lesson taught, Colton? How is this lesson taught throughout the book? So the author uses lots of kids and he shows all their differences and how they look different, they learn different, they have to do things differently to stay safe, to stay healthy. What does the author compare all these kids in the book to? Reagan.
They compare all the kids to the flowers because some flowers are easy to break and some are hard to break.
So in this book, we've learned a few things, right? We have learned that it's okay to be different, right? Okay to be different. We have learned that differences. So the author compares the kids to these flowers. So think of our classroom as a garden. Do we have one single type of flower in this garden? No. Do all of the flowers in this garden need different things in order to grow?
Yes.
Some of them might grow a little taller. Some of them might grow colors. Some of them might grow leaves. Some of them might need more water. Some of them might need more shade. Everyone, just like all of you, needs something different to help you to be successful. And so that is the big idea from this text. Now, you told me our goals at the beginning of this lesson were to understand why it's okay to just ask and to have these good discussions. Do you feel that if you go home today and your parents say, hey, what did you learn in class today? Don't tell them nothing. What did you learn in class today? Could you tell them and explain to them why it's okay and why it's important to just ask? If you think, yes, I can go home and tell my parents all about why it's okay to talk about our differences and ask questions. Or 3, I understand, I could probably do this on the playground and ask people questions, but maybe not teach someone else. 2, I'm starting to understand this, but I'm not really sure how to go about asking questions. Or 1, I'm not real sure yet, so I probably need to talk some more with Miss Morgan about it. Show me with your fingers how you feel you've learned about that today. Awesome, you can put your hands down. Here's my big question for you. How can you help others feel included if they're different from you? Take a second to think. How can you make others feel included if they're different from you? Alex.
You can, like, if they don't have nobody to play with, you can invite them to play with you. And if they're just sitting by themselves, you can go sit with them or invite them with your group.
Absolutely, include them, right? We want to include them in playing. If they're by themselves, make sure they feel welcome, right? Accepted. Callie. After completing my lesson, I feel that our goals were met through the lesson. I was able to measure this through listening to class discussions, through our exit ticket, and anyone who appears to have any misconceptions or doesn't quite get the outcome, I'll be able to pull them for small group for instruction. Through this lesson, I think that if I were able to change something different, of course, time is always a concern. We always want to have more time in the lesson. But to be able to have some of my students, I do have several students in the classroom who have some of these differences, these learning disabilities or these different physical disabilities. And I would love to be able to have the opportunity within the lesson for them to share. I do have a student who uses a walker. I do have some students who have autism or who have ADHD. And so to let them share their experiences. So moving forward, I would like to have that discussion continued with my students. As we move forward in our lesson tomorrow, this is the beginning introduction for our Because of Winn-Dixie unit, our chapter book. And so we're really setting that foundation the past few weeks on the importance of these unlikely friendships. So as the students explore this novel and the characters, they're able to dig a little deeper and find out why these friendships are so important along the way. Thanks for joining us.